The Champions League 2025-26 campaign is resuming soon, so it's only right that I give you my predictions on what's going to happen during Matchday 2. Can Real Madrid get 3 points away to Kairat Almaty, despite them traveling like 13 hours away to Kazakhstan? Can Galatasaray put a halt to Liverpool's hot start inside their intense home environment? Can Atletico Madrid bounce back against Eintracht Frankfurt? And who will win this hyped up match between Barcelona and PSG in what was supposed to be last year's Champions League final? And will Lamine Yamal get his revenge for missing out on the Ballon d'Or? Well, let's find out what I think with my predictions. And trust me, you're gonna want to stay until the end, because I definitely have some crazy upsets in this video. Now, the first game we're gonna start with is Kairat Almaty versus Real Madrid, taking place in Kazakhstan. I just know that the Almaty team and their fans are hyped that they get to play Real Madrid in their own stadium. This is gonna be one hell of a special moment for them. However, the Champions League so far for Kairat Almaty has not gone too well. Their first game against Sporting away was rough, because although they did bag their first ever Champions League goal, credit to them, they got dominated and ended up losing 4-1. Not a great way to start your campaign. But as I said in the previous video, the only way Kairat Almaty was gonna get points is by playing at home. Away from home, they're an easy 3 points for almost any side. The problem is, they're facing the Real Madrid as their first home game in the Champions League. Now, Real Madrid didn't start off their UCL campaign the best in terms of performance. Yeah, they got the result, with them beating Marseille 2-1 at the Santiago Bernabeu. But the only reason that they even won that game was due to 2 penalty kicks converted by Kylian Mbappe, with the second penalty shouldn't even have been called a penalty. That was plain robbery, bruh. Where else was bro supposed to put his hand? Also, shout out to my boy Timothy Weah real quick for scoring against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. The first American to ever do that, so fair play to the New York born and raised boy. Because some might argue that should have been the only goal of the game, and Marseille should have gotten the 3 points. But look, at the end of the day, Real Madrid secured a win in their first game, and they've also won every game of their season up until the time we recorded this video. So you gotta give credit where credit's due for Xabi Alonso's men. However, the flight to Kazakhstan from Madrid to play Kairat Almaty is like 13 hours. They're gonna be exhausted getting there. And also, Madrid would be playing in an unfamiliar environment. Additionally, Kairat Almaty are gonna play their hearts out against Real Madrid. This is a game that they've circled on their calendar. So to start off this video, I'm gonna go for a slight upset here. I'm gonna say that this game ends in a 1-1 draw. I don't think Kairat Almaty will win this game, but I do think they're gonna get something out of this. No lie, if this game was being played in the winter time where it would be freezing cold in Kazakhstan, Real Madrid might have been losing this game, no troll. Madrid got bailed out for having this game a little bit earlier in September, no lie. On to the next match we go, and let's talk about Atalanta versus Club Brugge. And this is a tale of 2 completely different stories. So Atalanta have been abysmal to start off their Champions League campaign. I know they had the unfortunate task of playing PSG away in their first game, but they absolutely got slapped alive 4-0. The thing is, it could have been more for PSG. Atalanta looked like they simply didn't belong in this competition. I know they didn't have Ademola Lookman in this game, who's slowly coming back to match fitness after trying to force a transfer out this past summer, and they did lose their legendary manager Gasperini, but still, getting clapped 4-0 in the opening match is never a good sign. The one redeeming factor for Atalanta though is they still look kinda decent in the league. The game against Juventus hasn't started yet at the time of recording this video, but they beat Torino away from home 3-0 and beat Lecce at home 4-1 in the Serie A season, so it hasn't been that bad in the Serie A. While Club Brugge on the other hand, these guys were going crazy in the first game. They had to play Monaco at home, which is a pretty good side. I was expecting it to be a pretty close game, and it seemed like it could have been with Mignolet giving away a penalty in which Glimt stepped up to take it, but he missed the penalty. Hey Monaco, for next time, just let my boy Follerine Balogun take the pen, bruh. He ain't missing.
This motherfucker don't miss.
Since that penalty save, it all went downhill for Monaco, and they ended up getting destroyed 4-1, with a bunch of Club Brugge goals being top quality goals as well. So it wasn't a good look for Monaco whatsoever. However, Ansu Fati did get his first goal after like 2 years. So shout out to bro, his career redemption arc is gonna be fire. So in this game, although Club Brugge is playing away, I find it hard not to back them after their amazing first UCL game this season. So I'm gonna say that Club Brugge are beating Atalanta away from home 2-1. That's my prediction for this game. Now moving on to the next clash in Matchday 2, we got 2 historic clubs taking each other on, with Marseille playing Ajax at home. Now starting off with Marseille, I already kind of went over them, but they had a pretty decent performance in their first game against Real Madrid in the Champions League. Some might even argue that they should have won the game because that second penalty probably should not have counted. And like I said, shout out to my beautiful sexy American boy Timothy Weah once again for that goal. It was fire. Speaking about Marseille overall though, they have been enjoying a pretty good start in League 1 so far. They're in the middle of the title race, although it is still pretty early on, but they've put themselves in a decent position. And they even recently beat PSG at home 1-0 for like the first time in 14 years or something crazy like that. So they're definitely trending upwards as of right now. While Ajax, despite being at home, ended up losing 2-0 to Inter Milan. I know they're the Champions League finalists from last season, but Inter are low-key weaker than they were last campaign. So I just thought maybe Ajax could get something out of this game, but honestly they just didn't look too good. Only 2 shots on target in 90 minutes at home, that is not good enough, bruh. So for me, I feel like this prediction is pretty simple. I'm gonna go for a simple 2-0 win for Olympique de Marseille in this match. Hopefully Weah backs another one, and not that bum Greenwood. On to the next match we go, and let's talk about Inter Milan versus Slavia Praha. Now I did literally just touch on Inter Milan, and like I said, they did well to beat Ajax away from home 2-0 in their opening game. game. But I also said they do look weaker compared to prior seasons, and I wasn't lying about that. In fact, at the time of recording this video, these guys have won only 2 out of 4 games, losing to the likes of Juventus 4-3, which is somewhat understandable, but then somehow losing to Udinese 2-1, which is kind of wild, bro. Like, how are you guys losing to Udinese as Inter Milan? Not only that, these guys are 10th place right now in the league. 10th place? Are you serious? What the hell is going on?
Are you serious right now, bro?
While Slavia Praha, on the other hand, in their opening game, they were 2-0 up against Bodo Glimt at home. Now, if you know anything about Bodo Glimt, these guys are not supposed to be that good away from home. But guess what? In the last 12 minutes of the game, Slavia Praha conceded 2 goals, including a 90th minute equalizer, and ended up fumbling to 3 points and drawing 2-2. Nasty work. And honestly, I just don't want to waste your guys' time with this match any more longer. We all know Inter Milan's going to win this match, and I'm going to say they're going to win this 1-3-1. You heard it here first. And fucking Marcus Thuram brace. Why not? Moving forward to the next game, and we got Chelsea versus Benfica. And this game is also what I would now like to call the Enzo Fernandez derby, because bro left Benfica after like half a season to join the Blues. Hence why I gave it this nickname. Now, both of these clubs in the Champions League did not get off to a good start. Both of them are currently on 0 points, but there's a difference in terms of the level of performance from both of these guys. Starting off with Chelsea, they had the tough challenge of playing Bayern Munich away from home in their opening match. And although I was low-key thinking that the Blues could pull off the upset, I was wrong, with Chelsea losing 3-1. But Cole Palmer did pretty good in this game. His goal was actually ridiculously good as well. But Bayern Munich were just a much better side in this match, and this just showed the gap in levels between the 2 European giants. But as I said, Chelsea had the difficult task of playing Bayern Munich in their opening match. You probably shouldn't be judging them too harshly, especially with their performance not being awful, which it wasn't. Benfica, on the other hand, bro, these motherfuckers had to play Qarabag at home, and they have 0 points. So you know what that means. Benfica lost at home to the Azerbaijani side, Qarabag. Dog, what the hell is going on here? To make matters worse for Benfica, these guys were up 2-0 in 30 minutes of the match. They looked like they were going to be cruising their way to the 3 points. But then they conceded a goal at the half hour, which allowed Qarabag back into the match. They then conceded another goal right when the second half kicked off, basically, and then Kashuk scored an 86-minute winner for Qarabag to help them collect their first ever win in Champions League history, which was away from home against the Giants Benfica. Benfica are so embarrassing, bruh. And to try and rectify the situation, they sacked Bruno Lage and ended up hiring Jose Mourinho, a man who was with Benfica 25 years ago, just got sacked by Fenerbahce, and helped Benfica's rivals Porto win a Champions League. Not only that, Mourinho is known for a defensive approach, so don't expect Benfica to be free-flowing in the offense. But hey, Mourinho's a winner, so hopefully Benfica can start winning some games, because my god, that loss against Qarabag was simply embarrassing. Now I know I said I wanted Benfica to start winning some games, but that won't happen against Chelsea, because I got Chelsea's offense beating Benfica 2-1 or something along those lines. Mourinho's gonna have to wait for his first UCL win with Benfica in 2025. Let's now move on to the next game where I'm definitely gonna be seated for. We got Galatasaray playing at home against my beautiful club Liverpool, and this game I feel like is gonna be absolute cinema. Here's why. Now Galatasaray are literally at the bottom of the Champions League table, because in the first game away to Eintracht Frankfurt, despite scoring first in the game, they allowed Frankfurt to come back against them at home and allowed them to score 5 goals past them, helping Frankfurt win 5-1 and allowing them to top the Champions League table after Matchday 1. Galatasaray literally just took it in the butt, bro. There's no other way to put it. But even though Galatasaray suffered an embarrassing defeat, there's still some light at the end of the tunnel. First, Victor Osimhen wasn't playing in that game, but with him coming back, there's a chance that he'll be playing against Liverpool, so that's a huge boost for Galatasaray. And also, they're playing at home this time, which means that they'll have their insanely passionate fans on their side. And we all know how scary playing away at Galatasaray is, so I'm sure their intense environment will help Galatasaray out. The problem is though, they're playing Liverpool Football Club, who are currently on top of the Premier League table, and although their performances haven't been the best, they've been winning all their games mainly in the last minute and have been securing the 3 points. And when your team is winning, it's a huge morale booster, and it feels like you can't get your feet back to the ground, and I'm sure that's how the Liverpool squad is feeling right now. Not only that, in Liverpool's first game of the Champions League season against Atletico Madrid, we went 2-0 up within 6 minutes, but then ended up conceding a brace from Marcus Llorente yet again during the remainder of the match. However, unlike last time, we were the ones who won this game, thanks to a last-minute goal by Virgil van Dijk from a corner to help us collect all 3 points in a 3-2 thriller. Now, respectfully to Galatasaray, I'm not sure whether we're going to need a last-minute winner against these guys, but I can still see this game being an absolute thriller. So out of respect for the tie, I think this game is going to be a 3-2 classic, but I got Liverpool winning this one away from home. And you know what? If Galatasaray somehow wins this game, I will give a $25 Amazon gift card exclusively to those on my Discord server. So if you want a chance of winning, join the server, link in the description, and make sure you're active or else I won't select you. But yeah, let's go Liverpool. Moving on to the next game now though, let's talk about Pafos versus Bayern Munich. And I just want to give a shout to the Cypriot club. She Turkish Cypriot, her cuz Brazilian, banger of a song, no lie. Anyway, sorry, back to Pafos. I want to give a shout to them because they earned their first ever point in the Champions League as they went away to geographical rivals Olympiacos and got a 0-0 draw. That's more than I honestly expected. But here's the thing, when you're facing a Bayern Munich team that's on fire right now in the Bundesliga and also in the Champions League, with them just beating Chelsea, despite them playing away in Cyprus now, I can't really see this game going any other way. So since I'm such a good guy and I don't want to waste your time, Bayern Munich will beat Pafos away from home 4-0. You heard it here first. Moving on to the next time Matchday 2, let's talk about Bodo Glimt versus Tottenham. And this was a match that was actually played last season in the Europa League, where Tottenham did what seemed like the impossible and beat Bodo Glimt at their home stadium and ended up winning in the semifinals. And due to that, they also ended up winning the Europa League altogether, which is why they're in the Champions League in the first place. If it wasn't for that Europa League win, these guys wouldn't be in champs. I mean, no shit, Sherlock. They were one spot above relegation. They would have not been in any European competition. But anyways, talking about the clash this year in the Champions League this time, this is going to be a pretty exciting one. So as I mentioned before, Bodo Glimt are coming off somewhat of a high, with them coming back late against Slavia Praha and drawing 2-2 from 2-0 down. And they're also currently on top of the Norwegian league, so they got a lot going for them right now. While Tottenham, on the other hand, besides that loss against Bournemouth, they've overall looked pretty good, if I do say so myself. And they're well within a top 4 spot and potentially a title race. Also in the Champions League, although that game wasn't one of the best ones, to be honest, it was quite boring. They got a lucky goal early on and went on to be a pretty fiery Villarreal side 1-0, so they'll take that all day. But this time, they're traveling all the way to Norway in a cold environment to take on Bodo Glimt. This could get a little spicy, and not gonna lie, I kinda just want to go with my gut for this one. Ever since last season, I've kinda grown a love for Bodo Glimt, and I believe that they can get something out of this game. So I think Tottenham are about to get Villarreal, in which I mean Bodo Glimt are gonna get a lucky goal early on and bunker down, and escape with a 1-0 win over Tottenham. Now this would be kinda peak. Let's now move on to the next game on Matchday 2, where we got Atletico Madrid taking on Eintracht Frankfurt. Now Atletico Madrid have had a poor start to the La Liga and Champions League season. They lost their first game to Espanyol surprisingly, drew the following 2 games, somehow ended up being Villarreal 2-0 at home somehow. The one game my sister ended up going to, they win, what the helly. Then they lost to my club, drew to Mallorca, and then beat Rayo Vallecano because Julian Alvarez dragged them through the mud and bagged a hat-trick for that victory to happen. So yeah, Atleti aren't looking too great. But Eintracht Frankfurt, on the other hand, I mean, they literally slapped a Galatasaray so hard that they're currently on top of the Champions League table. So that's gotta mean for something. In the Bundesliga though, they've low-key been pretty mid. They have been scoring goals, but they lose games due to their defense, like losing to Union Berlin at home somehow 4-3. That's how high-scoring Frankfurt games get. But in the Champions League, they've looked good, and I think they're gonna keep this up. I don't know whether this is gonna be an upset or not, but I'm gonna back a Frankfurt 4-2 win away from home. A very bold score prediction. But hey, go big or go home. Am I right or am I right? Let's now move on to the next game, where we got the mighty Qarabag taking on FC Copenhagen. But before we talk about this one, please remember to subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it, and it means a lot, so thank you. And also, if you guys can, follow my Twitter and my Instagram, both at Buto, if you just want to hear my thoughts on football games, transfers, and overall just to get to know me more. And also, make sure to join the Discord server, link in the description, and also follow me on Twitch. Live streams may be coming soon. So if you want to, feel free to follow my socials, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Alright, back to topic. Let's talk about Qarabag first. I mean, we already low-key touched on them, but these guys had an amazing first game. To go down 2-0 and then come back from behind and win 3-2 away from home in Portugal is nothing short of impressive. So kudos to them. While Copenhagen, on the other hand, they had the lead twice, and even had the lead for a majority of the game. But yet, both times they conceded, to draw to a Leverkusen side that hasn't been that good recently, which is kind of disappointing. So you know what? I'm going to continue riding on this Qarabag hype, and with them playing at home, I can see them pulling off a madness. So I'm going to say Qarabag is going to win this game against Copenhagen 2-1 at home. Qarabag, don't let me down. Moving on to the next match, let's talk about Union Saint-Gilloise taking on Newcastle. And first, let's go over to the debutants of the competition, Union SG, who had a remarkable win in their first game. Even though they were away from home to PSV Eindhoven, they absolutely dominated PSV, winning 3-1 against them, with even Promise Davis scoring the first goal of the 25-26 Champions League campaign, and the first goal for Union SG in the Champions League. And my boy Ricardo Pepi had a disaster class, bruh. Bro was responsible for 2 of Union SG's goals. You hate to see it. And Sabari is to blame for this defeat too. His chances that he missed could have easily changed the tide of this match. Regardless, Union SG did a great job to get a positive result away from home in their first Champions League game ever. And they're also doing a good job in the Belgian League too, with them currently being first place at the time of recording this video. So there's that. While Newcastle, on the other hand, their first game at home was against FC Barcelona. And even though, to be fair to them, they did alright, with Anthony Gordon even scoring a goal against Barca, Marcus Rashford had a masterclass in this game. And not only did he score his first ever goal for Barcelona, he scored an absolute screamer to secure a brace and all 3 points for Barca in this 2-1 win for them. But Newcastle does not look bad by any stretch of the imagination, but they are not doing so well in the Premier League right now, with them only winning 1 out of the 5 games played so far, and they're sitting at 13th place at the time of recording this video. So for this game, I think I'm gonna have to go for another upset in this vid, and I got Union SG pulling something remarkable off and winning 2-1 against Premier League side Newcastle. Let's go Union SG, I'm rooting for y'all. On to the next match we go, and let's talk about AS Monaco versus Manchester City, and this one's an interesting one for sure. Now we already touched up with Monaco a little bit, pause, with them having an awful first game away to Club Brugge. However, if we look at League 1, they're actually performing pretty well. In fact, at the time of recording this video, they're currently first place in League 1, and they're definitely in at least a fight for the title. Additionally, they're not even close to full strength yet, with Ansu Fati just getting back on the pitch and firing on all cylinders. Bro already has 3 goals in 2 games. This remontada is going to be special, and Paul Pogba still hasn't stepped on the pitch. Once these 2 guys are fully back, it's going to be absolute cinema for Monaco. But for now, they're still doing pretty good. While Man City, on the other hand, I mean, after the international break, these guys just look so much better. Haaland is back cooking, Pep Guardiola seems like he's gained his passion back for coaching at the highest level again, etc. The only thing is, their performance against Arsenal wasn't all too impressive. They literally had the lead for the majority of the match, but then blew it at the end with Martinelli scoring a late equalizer. I feel like City should have gone for the kill in this game, but instead they just sat back for almost the entire time. While Monaco, even though their first Champions the game was still poor, I still backed them, man. I'm not selling my stocks on this team yet. I believe in them, and I'm sure my belief in them will be paid off soon. And you know what? I'm gonna go back to my roots. Who I am as a person, a risk taker, a person who's bold. And I'm about to say something crazy. I got Monaco winning this game at home against Manchester City 1-0. Yeah, not only that, the goal is gonna come from Following Balogun. I'm running a fanfic in my head right now for what I think is gonna happen. But if this happens, wow, I might come. Real shit, no pause, resume. You heard me. If this happens, I might come. Anyways, let's just now move on to the next game real swiftly. Shout out to Taylor. And talk about Borussia Dortmund versus Athletic Club. And let's talk about Borussia Dortmund first. Because that first game against Juventus was genuinely absolute cinema. Against Juventus away from home, LDME brought the lead to BVB in the 52nd minute. But Kenan Yildiz scored a good goal to equalize. But then Felix Nemecha scored 2 minutes later to bring the lead back for Dortmund. But 2 minutes after that, Vlahovic brought the game back level through his goal. However, Jan Kuta would grab the lead back for Dortmund to make it 3-2. And Benzabaini would take his penalty well in the 86th minute to bring a 4-2 lead for BVB. And it seemed like that they would win this game. But then out of nowhere, the man who scored the penalty, Benzabaini, made a mistake and Vlahovic would pounce on the ball from across to bring one goal back in the 9+4th minute. And Lloyd Kelly, out of all players, would score in the 9+6th minute to level up the game 4-4 and make sure both teams left this game with a draw. See, I didn't lie. This game was like a whole movie. Dortmund though, how could you choke a 2-goal lead in injury time alone? That is mad disappointing. What isn't disappointing is their Bundesliga form right now, because they're in second place, where they should be, because they are not better than Bayern Munich, respectfully. They are not winning that title. While Athletic Club this season have just been mid to me, and they show that in their game against Arsenal, losing 2-0 to them at home. They haven't been all that in La Liga too. So for me, I got Borussia Dortmund winning this game 3-1 or something along those lines. They got this one in the bag. Let's just now move on to the next game on Matchday 2, where we got Napoli playing Sporting CP. And talking about Napoli first, the last year's Serie A champions, the first game did not go to plan for them whatsoever. In the 21st minute, the Napoli captain Di Lorenzo gets a dumb red card for slide tackling Holland as a last man and gets sent off. And that meant that 21 minutes in, Conte made Napoli sit in a low block and took out Kevin De Bruyne to put on another defender. KDB came back to Man City and only got like 20 minutes on his return. This is nasty work. And then eventually, Man City ended up winning this game 2-0. So Napoli lost their opening game. The only positive thing for Napoli is that in the next game, they're going to have 11 players, hopefully, and they'll have Kevin De Bruyne playing more than 20 minutes. Additionally, they are on top of the Serie A table, which means that they're looking real good right now. While Sporting CP, on the other hand, they beat Kairat Almaty 4-1, but come on bro, that's an easy 3 points. In the league though, they're second place. Not bad, but they're 3 points behind Porto, a team who's not even in the Champions League. And to be honest, let's just cut to the chase bro. Napoli's going to win 2-0. No chance Sporting are going to get something out of this one, especially away at Naples. On to the next match, let's talk about Villarreal versus Juventus. Now regarding Villarreal, in the first video I did mention that they're on hot form right now, and that TikTok trend with Nicolas Pepe celebration is going viral right now. However, since I spoke so highly about them, Villarreal ended up losing to Tottenham 1-0 due to a terrible own goal by the goalkeeper and lost to Atletico Madrid 2-0. Jinx Bodo really came into effect there. But hey, they did defeat Osasuna 2-1 and Sevilla 2-1 away from home, so maybe I didn't jinx them too bad after all. I just hope they start locking in for the Champions League, because that opening game versus Spurs was not that good whatsoever. Luckily for them, they're playing Juventus, which I mean is a good team. But the reason I said that is because Juve love having high scoring games. No defense, just full on offense. Their last few games were a 4-4 draw with BVB and a 4-3 win over Inter Milan. These lot have conceded 7 and scored 8 in 2 games, bro. That is crazy work. So if you want to watch a good game as a neutral, keep your eye out on this one, because I'm sure it'll be high scoring. But just like with Monaco, I don't want to sell my stock on Villarreal just yet. I still believe in them. So in this game, I'm going to say that it ends in a 4-3 thriller with Villarreal winning this game. If this actually happens, it would be amazing. Anyways, I think it's now time to talk about the next match between Arsenal versus Olympiacos. And man, like I said, I hate to waste you guys' time like this. You know I'm a real one like that. I'm always going to look out for you. I'm the realest in the game, baby. So yeah, Arsenal are a good side. Olympiacos are not that good as Arsenal. So according to the statistics and the mathematics, Arsenal's going to win this game 1-0. It's only 1-0 though, because that's Mikel Arteta's terrorist ball in a nutshell, baby. Bro is gassing up that 1-1 draw against Man City, saying CEOs and people in football love the way he played. Like bro, nobody told you that, bro. Stop the cap.
Stop the cap.
Now going to the next game, let's talk about Bayer Leverkusen versus PSV Eindhoven. Now both sides are not in the best form right now. Leverkusen have been poor in the Bundesliga, but at least they got a new coach now. And Malik Tillman has got a couple of goals, and they got a point in the Champions League. Unlike PSV Eindhoven, who are in second place in the Eredivisie surprisingly, and end up their first UCL game in defeat. So low key, with both sides being pretty mid right now, I can see this ending in like a 2-2 draw. I don't really want to pick a winner in this game, I'm not gonna lie. Seeing Tillman play his old club is a cool storyline though, I guess. But now I think it's time to talk about the biggest clash on Matchday 2 by quite a hefty margin. It's FC Barcelona taking on PSG. The Champions League final that should have happened last year if Barca didn't choke that second leg to Inter Milan away from home in the semifinals last year. And this game is going to be fire, especially that Ballon d'Or ceremony where Ousmane Dembele beat out Lamine Yamal from the final two to win the 2025 Ballon d'Or. Dembele definitely deserved it, but for me right now, Lamine Yamal might generally be the best and most gifted player in the world. And with him coming back from injury just in time for this tie, this game might actually be absolute cinema. For real this time. Now, I've already gone over how both these sides have been performing lately. PSG beat out Atalanta 4-0 in the first game, and FC Barcelona beat Newcastle away from home 2-1. So both of these guys got off to a winning start. In their respective leagues too at the time of recording this video, they're both second place are in a title race this season, so they've got a lot to focus on. But man, this game is about to be so fire. The last game between these sides where Dembele scored and celebrated against Barcelona was kind of fire. Dembele is going to miss this game though due to injury, but still this game is going to be class. Now I'm not sure whether this is going to be categorized as an upset or not. I'm not really sure if it will because both of these teams are actually really good, but I'm actually backing a 3-2 win for Barcelona here. I think the previous Champions League winners are going to lead Barcelona back to home to Paris with 0 points. And I think Lamine Yamal is going to make a statement and get 2 goal contributions in this game. You heard it here first. Anyways, with me now completing my predictions for Matchday 2 of the Champions League campaign, do you guys agree or disagree with what I said? Let me know down in the comments below. Now if you enjoyed this video, please remember to subscribe. I really appreciate it. And please be sure to follow my Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and join the Discord community. All the links are in my YouTube description. And last but not least, if you want to learn about the rise, fall, and rise again of Ousmane Dembele, you definitely want to check out this video right here. You won't regret it.